What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I am joined once again by Mr. VIP Franco Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
I am infinitely awesome as always, sir. Thank you. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. It is a new year. We are back. We took a little break. We enjoyed the holidays. We had some birthdays.
Shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step two. Oh, that's it.
So
That's
we
all I
are
got.
back once again.
Wait, what'd
with
you
All
say? We had
Things
some
Super.
birthdays.
Yeah, it was a birthday.
Who birthday?
Your birthday.
Oh, I was too. Hey.
Listen, I didn't give any details. I didn't say it was your birthday.
Way too enjoyable to remember that. There was a birthday in there somewhere.
It's somewhere. It happened. But if you don't know what this is,
birthday, but you know,
look, we're not gonna talk about how to celebrate my birthdays. We do a big over here at All Things Super. But if you don't know what this is, first of all, Happy New Year to you. Glad to have you back for 2023. But this is All Things Super, where every week we take a bit of superpower TV, movie, trailers. We watch them, we react to them, we break it down, and we ask the question, is it super?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Is it? I don't know. We'll find out. But if you like that, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on any of your major podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to join in on the conversation, just tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And we like reading comments, just in case.
And we like reading the comics.
Yeah, we like reading them. So leave them. If you leave them, we will read them. That's how that works. You leave them,
exactly.
we read them.
Give and take.
Cool enough, we'll give you a shout out.
We'll do that too. But we reply to the comments. We actually we are engaged with our audience. You leave a comment, not only do we read them, but we also reply.
We are a show of the people. We care about the people. We do this for you guys. It's
always.
Hey, look what Santa brought me for the new year. Tesseract. Only those who really follow know what I'm talking about. But
can it really be called a Tesseract if it doesn't do what the Tesseract does?
Yes, because this is what the budget allows. Second of all, can you hold a Tesseract? Nick Fury held the Tesseract in his hand in Avengers 1.
He also had gloves on.
But we also seen the Tesseract melt through a floor, metal, and a plane. So is Nick Fury one of the greatest powers that ever can be? Or was he a Skrull at the time? Just a little food for thought. Throw that out there. Welcome to the show. We're not talking Avengers today.
Because I'm trying to remember back to the Avengers, because this was, of course, the first one. When he took the Tesseract out of the housing and put it in the briefcase, was that after Loki arrived?
Yes.
So my theory
here we go
is that the Tesseract was sort of like depowered, right? Because it just opened up this huge gate. Not that this is just my theory. It was hooked up to this contraption
that was in the lunch pail, in the lunchbox with Captain Marvel. The same one.
Yes, same one.
Woo, continuity.
I don't think they knew how
powerful it was.
Not even how powerful it was, but just how to, and I'm saying they, as in the writers across these different films, from Captain America, the first Avenger, to Avengers, to Captain Marvel. I don't think, like you said, continuity, I don't think they really, took into account.
Tony Stark took the Tesseract when they went back on the time heist,
and
he used his gauntlet glove to take the Tesseract out of the safe. Nick Fury held it with his bare hands. Well,
glove hand.
Glove for protection.
It was protection enough. But listen, what did Tony say? Nick Fury is a spy. He's the spy. His secrets have secrets. So who knows what was in his gloves?
Oh wow. Are these AIM gloves? Are these Stark Industry gloves? What kind of gloves are these you can hold a Tesseract? Because when Red Skull held it, He got teleported.
That's true.
Continuity. Go on home.
But so here's the thing: when the Red Skull held it, was he trying to use it? Was he trying to like summon the power of the Tesseract in that moment? Maybe that's why he got teleported.
So how does this work again? So if I hold it,
I'm okay.
But if I try to use it, I
don't know, because Thanos just broke it and just put it in the glove, and anytime he closed his hand, he could go wherever the hell he want to go. I don't know how it's supposed to work.
He didn't have a glove on at all. So purple skin makes you immune? Or I'm trying to figure it out.
I mean, isn't he part Celestial?
Yeah, so it's Peter Quill.
Yeah, and Peter Quill was able to hold the Power Stone. Somewhat. Because he's half celestial, half human. So his human side can handle it. Well, no, not anymore.
Or is that a thing now? Does he still have the celestial gene inside of him since Ego is dead? Since they wanted to make Ego his father?
You know what? We might get that answer in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 now that we found out that Mantis is his sister.
Here's a question. How many more kids are out there that's related to Peter?
Probably.
Ego spread his seed across the universe.
But then he also had a basement full of bones.
Yeah.
But so again, I think those were the children he wanted to or tried to get to be able to use the celestial light, but that didn't, so he killed them. I would think that he tried with every child that he knew he had, but I don't think he would have a child and not know that child was born.
Are we going to see Ego again with all these multiversal shenanigans?
You know what? I wouldn't put it past the MCU with all of these rumors talking about, Scarlett Johansson is going to be back as Black Widow. Tony Stark's going to be back as Iron Man. It's all these rumors swirling around. Who knows who they'll bring back?
Secret Wars clearly stated that, they want to bring Tony Stark back.
But I don't want
They're already bringing Hugh Jackman back.
Well, that's in a different... that's for a different thing.
It's a thing. It's
because the thing about it is, but no, they said that is going to take place before Logan. So it's not like he died and they're bringing him back. This is basically like the Black Widow movie. It's a movie that's taking place before the character has died.
Yeah, let's not use a Black Widow movie in reference to anything.
Well, I'm just saying, as far as timelines go, Black Widow already died in Endgame before we got the Black Widow movie. So Hugh Jackman already died. Well, Wolverine already died in Logan before we get the Deadpool 3 movie.
What can we really expect from this Deadpool 3 movie?
More Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds.
And Hugh Jackman being Wolverine?
Yeah.
No way they don't fight.
Of course. They're absolutely going to fight. But why are they fighting? That's exactly what I'm about to say. I have no idea. Because, I mean, even in Deadpool 2 with Cable and... What was the kid's name?
Firefish.
Isaiah? Yeah, whatever. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That whole villain thing was kind of weak.
Very. It's the reshoots.
And I'm not... And I mean, and then you just throw Juggernaut in there for shits and giggles, I guess.
S and G's, because really serve no purpose besides to have a big CGI fight at the end.
Right. And I think that's what Free Guy was making fun of after all of that, because it was still essentially Ryan Reynolds fighting himself.
Yeah, it made no sense either. But at the same time, can we really dial things back and make it more grounded? If you can make it more grounded and like
I think so.
One,
I think so. I mean, that's what I'm about to say. I'm not familiar with Deadpool's villain, so I don't know who he goes up against, other than like organized crime families and stuff like that.
The biggest thing I think Deadpool did was kill off the DC universe and then the MCU. Which I think
that would be hilarious. That would be fucking funny.
Well, if he kills off the Fox franchise, which again they can do now because they own, who wouldn't want to see that?
I also heard that there was some kind of like contract hold up with the actors from the Fox Marvel movies
I
that is
have heard
preventing
similar.
them from appearing in MCU movies? I guess except for Hugh Jackman, or even that may include Hugh Jackman as to why there hasn't been uh why the movie is still kind of like being worked on and still in production.
Here's the thing: when you get to Hollywood, read your contract. You want to make sure you know what
Yeah.
you're getting yourself into.
But see, the thing about it is, I'm pretty sure that nobody, because X-Men came out in what, year 2000? So nobody
Oh,
from that franchise could have foreseen, because Marvel Studios was in a toilet at that point. That's why
you
they
know
was
who
selling off
foresaw
the
it?
rights to all of their properties.
You know who foresaw it? Kevin,
Kevin Feige.
executive producer, or one of the assistant executive producer in X Men.
Mm-hmm.
He was there, baby. He was there,
He was there.
looking towards
He
the
was
future.
there.
Here's a question: can
Yep.
another studio make a cinematic universe at this point that can get you to care about their stories to a point that we care about the MCU?
Yeah. It
That
just
does
depends on what the
not
story is.
that does not have the comic lore of decades.
I feel like
Here we go.
something you have to have something that's already known to people,
That's not
right?
true.
You think that you can have an IP that's starting from scratch,
Yes,
that they
Invincible,
can create a movie and create a franchise, a cinematic universe around that movie.
Invincible. Before the
But
Amazon,
we're talking about shows, or we're talking about movies and not TV shows.
well,
You think they can
they
transition
came out with an
Invincible into a
Invincible
movie?
right now as a live action Invincible. I will go see that.
I would see it as well, but do you think they can create a cinematic universe around it though?
Yes, because they did so with the animated show.
And that it
You
would
have
be
your
as popular, if not more popular, than the MCU.
yes, and the reason I say this because
I disagree on that point.
they have so many characters that have their own little spin-off shows. Obviously, you'll need more. Oh yes,
Like who?
the guy that turns his body into stone. If you might have to go back and watch Invincible. So the guy that turned his body into stone had a whole sideline story about him coming into power as a mafia guy.
Oh, the guy that he helped in like one of the last couple of episodes in the season.
Correct. Also, the gentleman that's a beast, the lion guy who's looking for
KGBs.
yeah, he's just OP,
Yeah, he
overpowered.
is.
He's looking to die or even get beat up. To see how his transition on how he got to that point, I'm interested in that.
Are you saying that shows can be created about characters, not that there are? I
Correct.
got you. When you say that there are so many spin-offs, I was confused. I was like, wait, where are these spin-offs and why haven't I watched them yet? You're
Yeah,
just saying there are so
they
many
don't
spin-offs that can be
exist, but
created
they
based on these characters. I got
correct.
you. No,
And then that
I can see that.
come together, and the popularity of Invincible, clearly was a win. Everyone likes it.
Here's my thing.
Here's your
I
thing.
think that
Give the
the
people your thing.
appeal to the MCU and why it's so universally
Is
liked,
Steve
not that
Rogers
everyone
fuck?
loves it. No. But I
That's
think
America's ass.
it has to do with the marketability of superheroes as family friendly household names. Now, when you take something like Invincible, which is hyper violent, which has blood, gore, sex, crude language, all of this other kind of stuff, you have
Yeah.
a set audience that does appreciate that, but I don't think you can't market that to kids. So you're taking out the family aspect of where
Huh.
these billion-dollar franchises go.
You also have to include China because China has a huge market and demographic over there that cannot be ignored, which is why
Right. And
a
they
lot
won't take stuff like that from America.
skew towards that. Here's what I need you to do, China. I need you to be
Here he is
live.
addressing China.
Yes, I'm talking directly to China. I need you to be a lot less racist. Okay, I need you to do that for me. I just need you to go ahead No, seriously, because of Disney, if this is well documented, they pull a lot
Yes,
of
it
the
is.
black
It is.
actors
It
off of
is.
the posters and the
Or put
marketing,
them in the background
or make them
because they did it
small.
with John Boyega in Star
Yeah,
Wars.
Star Wars, and Rhodey has to have his armor on, and it's like, come on,
Yeah.
Don Cheadle is a treasure. You just can't just down Cheadle like that. So what are they gonna do now with these African American led series like Armor Wars? It's Don Cheadle and
They're not gonna take them. There's gonna be like region blocked in China because they didn't screen Black Panther. Black Panther didn't go to China. Wakanda Forever, I should say.
Like I said, China.
Wakanda Forever was not screened in China and it was not screened in Russia
because they had African Americans in it and they had Latino Americans in it, or Mayan Americans.
I personally can't say definitively that that's what the reason was.
How you say her name?
I don't know. Valentina D. Contessa something.
Fatane.
Yeah, all of that.
Tesseract. She was in it too.
So it was Ross.
Yeah,
Ross was in it.
Yeah, he was. Oh, I can't continue this conversation without saying hearts and condolences and prayers and well wishes out for Jeremy.
Absolutely.
Hawkeye.
It was
horrible what recently had transpired for that young man. Listen, that's dangerous work, plowing the snow. Okay, you guys might take it light, but clearly anything can happen. Everything can happen, and we wish him speedy recoveries. And well, just besides the movies, it has nothing to do with any of the movies.
No, nothing to do with the movies.
Everything to do with get well soon and take your time. You are loved amongst many, and speedy recovery. But with that being said, China, I need you to be a lot less racist. You might don't even want to hear it because I'm saying it, but I can't do anything about the things that I can't do anything about. And if you want to continue to be racist, it's just a bad look. It's a bad look. Okay, leaving it alone.
With that being said, we didn't come into 2023 to start off talking about MCU, but it's never far from our minds.
I think it's what we need to just go ahead and finish the show with at this point we're in. So, this is one of those shows. So, welcome to 2023. Our views
welcome to 2023.
The recap, I guess, of everything that we feel like talking about. This is a non-scripted show. We know why you're here. This is a non-scripted show. You're here for us. You want to see us. You're like, hey, where are those two guys that always talk about things that's going on with the MCU and the DCEU? Speaking of the DCEU, we made, you made a great prediction about the hierarchy of power being shifted in the DCEU. It went from the top dog to not at all. The power did change. The dynamic did change. It didn't change in the way that we thought it was going to change.
Listen,
who saw that?
I told you.
Who saw that coming?
I told you.
I agree. You're not going to let a villain be the face of the franchise. It's just not going to happen. Anti-hero, anti-villain, however you want.
I'm not a hero, but I'm going to save everybody.
But I kill people, a lot of people. And
I care about this child that I've known for all of 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. The deciding factor of me not killing you is I can sense that you're from Kahndaq, because there's wasn't some of them soldiers from Kahndaq?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of them were.
Sounds like you can't have it both ways, buddy. Heroes don't kill people. I do. Well, you're not a hero. That's how that works. You can't have it both ways.
Exactly.
You got to have a moral standing that you stand behind and stand behind it. You can't just kill them. Oh, hey, there you go. I'm a good guy because I wear black. The good guys dress in black. Remember that. You see what I'm saying? It's confusing. You don't understand. Well, That's the DCEU. James Gunn is now taking the helm. Are we in good hands? Are we up
I'm
for
not
more of the
calling anything
same?
until I see it.
Well, here's the thing. This goes right back to the same question that we were asking. It was like, can you create a cinematic universe, interconnecting cinematic universe,
Mm-hmm.
and get us to care about? James Gunn has done what most people cannot do. He took a ragtag group of dysfunctional characters,
Mm-hmm.
lesser known for the general audience. You know them, I know them, because again, we're Marvel heads, we're comic heads. Guardians of the Galaxy. You took a talking raccoon and a somewhat talking tree, and they're best friends already. You introduced them to the world, and you didn't make it weird. You made it kind of cool, and you sympathized with this kid who was abducted by this bounty hunter alien to bring back to just a horrible planet of a person. I don't even think you can make that make sense. A horrible planet of a person, which is Ego, to try to geoform the universe. When he realized what was going on with his other kids, he kind of had a heart, but he still didn't return them. He kept them. These are not good guys.
No,
but
not at all.
James Gunn made us care about them, which again in Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad, got to separate from the pack. You made us care about other characters that we didn't even know or didn't care to care about. So you had Deadshot? No, not Deadshot. You had what was Idris Elba's
You're
character?
talking about the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, the Suicide Squad.
So
Will Smith was Deadshot.
Right.
And then Idris Elba was killed.
Bloodsport?
But no, that's Vin Diesel, Groot. No, he's Bloodshot.
No, not Bloodshot.
Yeah, so Vin Diesel was Bloodshot. This was Kill Switch. I don't.
Ratcatcher. Can't remember.
No, it did well.
Ratcatcher, yeah, Ratcatcher 2,
and Ratcatcher 2. That
Bloodsport. See, you corrected me on those, right?
First of all, that's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
It's still name was still Bloodsport.
So what was the Will Smith character's name?
Deadshot. He was Deadshot.
Okay. Point is, you got Polka Dot
the DC characters.
You got Shark, Killer Shark, King Shark.
King Shark.
Mm-hmm. You had Peacemaker. All these characters that were not
C-level, D-level characters.
No names, right? Captain Boomerang. And you made us care about him. You made us care about Captain Boomerang. He was just in the other movie. You're like, yeah, continuity. Killed him off. Wait a minute, he survived at the end, didn't he? Didn't he like come back or something?
Captain Boomerang survived, yeah.
Yeah, well, you can't have the Suicide Squad without Captain Boomerang.
No, did he survive?
I know the rat, James Gunn's brother, survived. He coughed up water and then he went scurrying off.
Yeah.
Yeah, wet rat.
Weasel. It was a weasel.
Weasel. Wet weasel.
Yeah.
Yeah. The weasels have 9 lives, apparently.
Apparently.
And stop killing off Michael Rooker. God damn it, man. This guy's a great actor.
He ran away
every time. Killed him off in Guardians and killed him off.
Well, he I think he had a fully fleshed out character arc in Guardians.
Did he? I could have seen him do some more stuff. I mean, who else gonna? Cracklin ain't got that arrow down. Yeah, this has been how many years?
He was still struggling. He was still struggling in Love and Thunder.
Exactly. The Christmas special, he ain't have it down. Come on, man.
He didn't use it in the Christmas special.
He said he didn't get it yet, though. He told that to Kevin Bacon.
Well, I mean, think about how long Yondu has had it.
Should have been asking the right questions when Yondu was alive.
Give him time.
Oh man, it's gonna be epic when he gets a hold of that thing. But the bottom line,
might see it in Guardians 3.
Can James Gunn make us?
I see the reason why I say I'm not calling anything until I see it, because it's not it's not about any lack of confidence in James Gunn doing what we have already seen him do in multiple properties. My lack of confidence is behind Warner Brothers.
You think they're going to try to control the narrative?
I think they're going to try to control his stories, because if they want to try to keep up with the MCU and create this cinematic universe, they want to rebrand it DCEU or whatever they want to call it in the future. I don't know how much freedom they're going to give James Gunn to do what it is that he needs to do. Whereas Disney, whereas Disney and Marvel say, well, Kevin, MCU is your child. We leave it in your hands.
Chief creative officer of all things Disney over there. Star Wars, right. Marvel, everything that's creative.
And so, first of all, that's one person. That is Kevin Feige. That is him. James Gunn has a co-lead, a co-chairperson, a co-CEO, or whatever it is. So not only is, I'm not going to say not only is his hands tied, but not only does he have, and I'm not familiar with the other guy's work because I don't even remember his name. So I can't say that. Do you remember his name?
I never knew it in the first place. So I didn't have to remember it at all.
But so it's not to say that he's going to hinder James in any way, or he's going to be contradictory to James in any way. They could work very well together. I don't know. Like I said, it's yet to be seen. But for the two of them to be able to collaborate and create this, this interwoven cinematic universe, it depends on what Warner Brothers Studios is going to have as far as input going into these stories. Because you're still going to have different directors, because of course James Gunn is not going to write and direct everything. You're still going to have different directors, you're going to have different writers, different showrunners and all this other kind of stuff for the shows and everything. And so how much is a studio going to play into the story that gets told and the direction that they go in with the different franchises? That's the only thing that I'm unsure about, because I've seen just in the past 6 months how much Warner Brothers and HBO have just shows that they've canceled that were critically acclaimed and doing really well, movies that were in the middle of production or post-production that they axed. And so you have all of this
Miller
stuff.
had a lot of legal stuff going on, and he got to cool down before we could touch.
As far as I know, his movie's still coming out.
Yeah, because we put too much money in that Flashpoint movie. We can't just drop it.
But everybody was excited about the Batgirl movie, and they just scrapped it.
Yeah, but the Batwoman movie, TV show's not doing exceptionally well.
Well, there's two different characters, first of all, but then they also didn't give it an opportunity to do well, because they barely advertised it, because this was when I still had TV. They barely advertised it. But not only was the show not advertised, but Ruby Rose, who was the actor playing Kate Kane, she came out and talked about all the mistreatment that she experienced while she was on the set. How Warner Brothers Studios ignored her injuries and told her to push through. Yeah.
Well, it's like,
and so that's what ended up.
Sometimes you got to play hurt.
But so that's what one of the things that resulted in her leaving the show.
I hear Tom Cruise talking about how you broke his ankle on Mission Impossible, but he clearly did. Got to run through that.
No, he did. But the thing about it is that I'm sure that the directors and the producers and everything, they gave him time to heal after he broke his ankle. They didn't say, "Oh, well, Tom, you got to get back out there and finish the movie."
You got to run, Tom.
So
you know how horrible that would be? Like, God, my ankle is broken. I need you to run, Tom.
I need you to run. You have to run 80. You have to run 80 football fields tomorrow. So whatever you got to do, get it together.
Some ice for Tom's ankle?
Figure it out.
Can we get some duct tape? Yeah, that is horrible. There's no excuse.
But yeah, so that's what resulted in her ended up leaving in the show, and so then now you have a new character, and so you have to rewrite the story and explain why Kate Kane, who was a white woman, is now a black woman now, or if it's a new character, completely new character, how she taken up to the mantle of Batwoman, why was there this transition? So of course, after all of that, nobody really wanted to watch the show, because your star power is Ruby Rose. She came off of
great actress.
Triple X, Return of the Cage, John Wick. She had a lot of films
I
under
want
her
to see
belt.
her again in John Wick. She was so good in John Wick. I want to
She
see her again.
was,
No,
but I mean, she's
lines.
dead.
Well,
Yeah,
is she though? Is she? Same thing about Common's character. Is he? Because he said if you were to take the blade out of your chest, you're gonna die. So he kind of just sat there and was like, I can't believe this motherfucker stabbed me.
So I don't know. It's possible they could be dead. They could be alive. I don't know.
Well, it wouldn't be surprising if they lived. I mean, Lawrence Fishburne got 9 slashes to the face. Was it 9?
He still
7?
came back. I don't know. It was he got slashed up. I don't know how many.
And then John got shot and fell off a roof, and he's right back at it with John Wick 4 right around the corner, driving that newly restored Mustang, and it's going to crap again. John, you just don't deserve this car. Okay, Nicolas Cage is clawing his eyes out because
different vehicle, different car.
This is true, but at the same time, it's a Ford, right? It's a Ford. Is
it a Ford? I thought it was a Charger.
No, it is not a Charger.
Or a Challenger. One of the two.
It is not a Challenger. Now you got me going to you got me going to. If you guys know John Wick's car, leave it in the comment section right now.
I'm about to look it up right now.
Well,
Nope, you're right. It was a Mustang. Ford Mustang Bus 429.
There you go.
1969.
Ford boys. American made. Ha ha! So, like I was saying, Nicolas Cage is probably like, no. I can't do a Nicolas Cage impersonation. But
I don't think anybody can do a Nicolas Cage impersonation.
He is coming out as Dracula. Is that something that you want to talk about?
What is that? Reinhardt? It looks funny.
It
looks funny. It's starring Nicolas Cage. It's starring Nicholas Hoult. He played Beast in the X-Men reboot franchise.
He was also in Warm Bodies as he played.
He was also in Warm Bodies as the lead zombie.
In the Mad Max Fury Road as Witness Me.
It's me. Yeah.
I can guarantee you that tastes nasty.
I mean, it was probably like some candy spray or something like that.
You think they can get candy in the aerosol form?
I mean, they can get cheese in the aerosol form. What can't they get in the aerosol form?
Just think about spraying pure sugar into your bloodstream. Just like diabetes.
I mean, it had to be something. It wasn't just paint.
Oh,
it was something edible. I don't know.
Well, yeah, they got spray food coloring and spray. You see artists when they're spraying cakes and pies and stencils and things of that nature. So I can see it. Yeah. Damn, you smart, Spider. Goddamn, man. Damn, I like that. So James Gunn can't save the DCEU.
I didn't say that. I said that it's yet to be seen because we don't know how much the studio is going to play a part in it.
Did you like Peacemaker?
Yes.
Did you like The Suicide Squad?
It was all right.
Oh, wow. Ooh, there he goes. Those expectations. Did you like Guardians?
Yeah, I love Guardians.
Did you like Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2?
A little bit less, but yes.
Oh, ouch. Did you like Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special?
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, so outside of those things, any other James Gunn property that you want to throw into the hat of something that you may have not cared for?
Nothing that I can come to mind.
This guy is about to save the DCEU.
And when you quote that, make sure you put that quote, Mr. VIP Freddie Washington.
Fuck them tweets. James Gunn. I'm imagining his initials in like steel. Oh. He has to do something about it. Quite honestly, Marvel's been beating the snot out of DC for quite some time. So outside of the big three.
1 second. So before we go any further into this conversation, is this what we're talking about, or are we going to talk about what we came here to talk about?
We're talking about this because we're too far deep in to talk about anything else.
want to make sure we got to have at least some point that we're going
our
working
dialogue
towards.
has went so far past what we initially came for. It really makes no sense now to double back to what we came
That's
for.
fine. That's fine because we're already 30 minutes in.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so, just making sure because when I make the thumbnail, I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to play this.
2023, welcome. Or something along those lines. See, this is how live this show is. Not live for y'all, but live for us. We're talking about the show in the show. That's called meta commentary. Close to it. Meta commentary.
Close to it. There you go.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now, what I was saying is that the James Gunn, Ford built, American made. Is he American or is he Canadian?
You know what? At this point, I would not be surprised if he wasn't. I would be surprised if he wasn't Canadian. Nope, he was born in Missouri. He is 100% American.
American made, yeah.
But he has Irish and Czechoslovakian ancestry.
God damn, is that Google giving you these answers like this?
That's IMDb.
Oh, wow. Shout out IMDb.
I love IMDb. Shout out to IMDb. You have fueled this desire for random knowledge so many times.
And if you guys didn't catch that, we're now reallocating our to shout outs since we're not doing spoilers this year.
Yeah, no spoilers in 2023.
Yeah, if you clicked on the thumbnail, it is what it is. So you're welcome.
And we got a lot to talk about this year, so be prepared.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can not miss any of these new videos.
And hit the bell so you can be notified when we have a new episode.
With this outlandish content. There will be F-bombs, so put the kids away. So James Gunn, here's the thing. I was saying Marvel's been beating the crap out of DC for a while because DC kind of refused to get outside of the big three. Big three being Superman,
Not
Batman,
even a
Wonder
big three.
Woman.
Not even a big three. They refuse to get outside of Batman.
Well,
you think of
the most popular DC iconic superhero that has done successfully well, with the exceptions of Batman and Robin or Batman Forever. Everything has been pretty spot on.
But the thing about it is, like, you think of the opportunities that Batman has had. How many different Batmans have we had? We had 4 as far as movies go.
Okay. So we had Val Kilmer, George Clooney, the King, Michael Keaton.
Right.
We also had Robert Pattinson and then Christian Bale. Chris Bale. So,
and Ben Affleck.
And Ben Affleck. How can I forget the Flack? Top 6. There you go.
So you got 6 Batmans. How many Supermen have we had?
Are we talking TV shows or movies?
No, just movies.
Okay, so we have
Christopher Reeves. Henry Ralph.
Okay.
Henry
Cavill. I was gonna say that too.
But and then Wonder Woman is even less because we've only had we've had 2 Wonder Woman films, 1 Wonder Woman actress. Yeah, but it was,
I think she was tired of playing the role. She might not admit that, but I'm pretty sure that we were tired of seeing her in it.
Well, all I'm saying is that there has not been the same amount of effort put into all of the other superheroes as there has been into Batman.
This is what I'm saying. DC has been around. I can't say that full-heartedly because we did get a Green Lantern movie. I don't have anything against Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie. It does what it's supposed to do. But I'm gonna say this.
I feel like before we move too far from the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, I feel like if we didn't have the CG super suit in Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern, we wouldn't have the CG super suit for Iron Man. Because I feel like Ryan Reynolds was the first one to do it.
Don't make the villain a fucking cloud. Just don't do that. It has never worked out in any of the movies. Even in Doctor Strange, the villain, Dormammu was a cloud entity, but the focus.
They've done this multiple times because it was Green Lantern, They did it in Doctor Strange, Dormammu was just a cloud. They also did it in Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Galactus was literally a cloud.
Stop. Just don't do that. Then you can have an opportunity to make your villain. You can't punch a cloud. I don't care what type of form you're in. You can't.
But apparently, you can throw a mentally constructed green jet at it
and punch it.
Or yeah, in Chris Evans' case, you can get all the powers of the Fantastic Four and you can punch it.
He's coming back too as a Human Torch at Marvel. But besides that, because let me stay on this DC train real fast. So there's so many other characters outside of the big three that you could do.
Right.
Say what you want about Black Adam. Hawkman deserves his own movie. I think the gentleman that played Hawkman did a fantastic job.
Aldous Hodge.
I wouldn't have said either one of those. The OG 007 Pierce Brosnan himself can carry a Dr. Fate movie.
Absolutely. Best part of that movie.
Adam Smasher, I would like to see him fumble, discover his way to his own standalone movie. Clearly, he's trying to figure it out. If you like a little bit of that,
he would be. I feel like he would be sort of like if there were to compare apples to oranges from the DCEU to the MCU. I feel like that would be sort of like an Ant-Man type movie.
Of course. Adam Smasher.
Yeah, but basically like the younger hero, well, not necessarily younger in Paul Rudd's case, but he's younger than Michael Douglas, but being handed the mantle from the older person who's not doing it anymore and just seeing them trying to figure out their powers and all that kind of stuff.
Great Henry Winkler the Fonz. Hey, you could have right. That's a story right there.
Yeah.
So again, there's elements there, and you and I already talked about God damn, I'm getting the camera and say we demand to see a Booster Gold movie. Yeah, you change your mind? I want to see a Booster Gold movie. Booster Gold, time traveling future hero came back to the past with skeet.
I feel like Booster Gold might be better as a TV show.
Ooh. Now here's the thing: a lot of people might be saying, "No, let's do a movie," but you're right, because a TV show gives you more room to flush out the character.
Right.
But still, as an avenue, HBO Max has that lane. You can go in there and put a Booster Gold show right there, and then we have
and then cancel it after a season and a half.
See, right in the middle of it. See, get the people hype and then say nah. Now, but then you still also have characters like Vixen. Vixen can hold her own. She has actually had a show on Crackle.
Animated show.
Yeah. I don't know where it's on now because
it's on HBO Max.
Is it?
I believe it is.
Did they finish the season?
Yeah.
Okay. Clearly,
had cameos from Stephen Amell as Green Arrow and Grant Gustin as the Flash.
Yeah, I saw that earlier on. So that could be a nice little team up right there. Zendaya. Zantara. The magic wielder.
Zatanna.
That's what I wouldn't have said if I knew it.
So like, where are you going with it?
But it was close enough that you knew what I was talking about.
When you said magic.
It was the snaps.
It was snaps.
That's another standalone show that we could do. Again, the reference I've already gone on reference to say Young Justice. She's on
bring
there.
Young Justice back.
I'm bringing Young. That's a gift.
Please bring Young Justice back.
Please bring Young Justice back. And again, you got Beast Boy. You got the Titans. They have their own little show going on. But I'm saying these are
I've never
areas.
Watched that.
Nor have I. But there are other avenues outside the big.
No, not Titans. I'm thinking. I've watched Titans. I haven't watched season
Doom Patrol
4 of Titans. Doom Patrol is the one that I haven't watched.
Okay, so there are every avenues that we can explore outside of the big three. Now, can James Gunn make us care about these other characters? Do you care
at that point?
Or is it
at that point? It's not.
I
think at that point, it's not James Gunn making us care about him. It's the other directors and writers who are creating these films. it's their responsibility to make us care about it. I think it's James Gunn's responsibility to keep all the continuity in line and keep the universe connected.
Nah, they got other people on payroll for that.
But like I said, because he's not going to be the one that's directing and creating and writing everything. So we have to
do an overall story. So you got Granny Goodwitch,
who was in Justice League, the Snyder Cut.
No comment.
And then you got to think about everything that was DCEU, save for maybe the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. I think everything that happened before that is getting scrapped.
Yeah, he's washing the board. Now, with that being said, he has talked about the possibility of bringing Henry Cavill back after the backlash of saying he got fired again. And I think,
well, it's like he said he was coming back. He came back in Black Adam. Then they said, "Oh, well, no, we're moving on with another Superman character." So, I think you said this either in a personal conversation that we had or in a conversation that we had on the show, that maybe the next Superman movie is going to star a younger actor as Superman because it's going to be more like an origin story kind of thing. But then next movie, they go back to Henry Cavill.
Don't do that.
I don't know, because why else would you say that he's not going to be Superman and then bring him back as Superman? So are we doing an origin story? Are we going with a younger actor, or are we just sticking with Henry Cavill and we're continuing Superman's story? Because even Superman has a lot of villains that he can go to. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor was one of the hugest mistakes I've ever seen in any film.
I agree.
Because
taking nothing away from him as an actor, but
taking nothing away from Jesse Eisenberg as an actor, because he's a very talented individual, but he's the same in almost every film. He's just like this kind of Rain Man almost. He portrays like this genius level intellect who's doesn't know how to be social, doesn't know how to talk to people, and so every time he talks like very fast. Yeah, he's great in Now You See Me, and Now You See Me too. He was great in those.
Where's the third Now You See Me?
I don't know. But his I don't know, like his speech pattern, his intonation, the way he talks is undeniably him. But that's not Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is I feel like if The Rock would have came in to the DCEU as Lex Luthor, I feel like that would have been a great role for him. But the thing about it is that I don't think The Rock can play a character where he is universally hated. Like, I don't think The Rock is going to play a villain character where he's truly a villain. Because Black Adam is supposed to be not even a bad guy, but he's not, the anti-hero that The Rock portrayed him out to be in the movie. Because Black Adam is like
Denzel. He should have went Denzel in Training Day and just been the whole bad guy and then questionable.
Yes. Because how many people are still talking about Training Day to this day as one of Denzel's greatest performances?
I just did. I just referenced it right now. So.
Exactly, and I think that might be what's holding The Rock back, is that if you want to show your range, show that you can be more than just the good guy, or more than just a hero, more than just the guy that saves the day. Be the bad guy. Be somebody that is not liked. Because can you not see The Rock as a imposing figure, so much so that him just walking into the room, he's commanding presence, right? You get him. I don't know who you get.
Like 75% of the room. He's a large man. He is a large man.
Even in, because in the Superman animated series, that's when they started portraying Lex Luthor as a more in shape guy, a bigger guy. I want to say he was black. I don't know about the voice actor that portrayed him, but he was a darker colored character.
Yeah.
And so
Samuel L. treatment.
But he was not only was he a genius, not only was he super rich, but he was resourceful, and so he's
the DC Iron Man.
he stepped away from always just basically trying to, well, he stepped away from as much as just always trying to hire people or, manipulate people into defeating Superman. And he would take matters into his own hands. He would get the kryptonite. He would build a suit for himself to fight Superman on his own. And I feel like if you want to pit The Rock against Superman, make him Lex Luthor. He has the bald head for it. He looks good in the suit. You can, because...
Are we talking about The Rock or me? Hold on. What's going on?
Lex Luthor doesn't have facial hair, so I think you're out on that one.
Oh, there you go. I'm a whole different entity then. Who wants
But I feel like that would have served him better, and that would have just been a better... I feel like that would have been a better... That would have been a better... That would have been a better Lex Luthor for DC rather than Jesse Eisenberg.
The Rock wanted powers. He wanted to electrify. He is the most... He is the most electrifying man of all Hollywood. It fits his motif. Come on. And oh my God. Okay.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So,
but no, you are right. There are just as many characters in the DCEU as there is in the MCU that they could. They've been, because even there were rumors that The Rock was going to be Lobo way back when.
Yes, it's true. I would have loved to see him be Lobo, not with a bad wig, and just throw that.
It would have had to be a bad wig.
No, because there's versions.
Let him be bald.
Yeah, let him be, like, put some tattoos on his head and have it just be kind of different, off-putting but different.
But he'd have to be. He'd have to be like pale white almost.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah. You gotta go Kratos with this. You can't.
But I don't think. See, I feel like The Rock has, like, in his contract that any character he plays, you still have to be able to recognize his face. Like, The Rock hasn't put on makeup like to alter his face since I think he did a cameo appearance in Star Trek, like the TV show. Way back when he first started acting.
I remember that. Yeah. I was a fan of him then. I'm a fan of him
since then, every character he's portrayed, it's been his face. Even with the CGI Scorpion and the Mummy 2 was still his face on the CGI Scorpion.
That didn't look right at all. I don't know.
No, it didn't. But I mean, it was a sign of the times. But even back then, it didn't look right.
Somebody okayed that, and it was like, it's The Rock. Let it go. That's all we need. And it's like.
But I think that that was the last time he played a villain. That was the last time he played a villain, when he was a Scorpion King. Which they
retcon and made him a hero of his people.
Right. In his own movie, he is now a hero. But.
So you're saying it's a casting thing? They can't save the DCEU because they don't know how to cast.
No, I'm saying particularly for The Rock. The Rock is never going to play anything other than the person that saves the day.
Damn. Have you been reading The Rock's contracts?
No, I haven't.
It's true.
But it seems to be the trend. But no, it's not about that, because I feel like you can take. So. Because it just depends on who you get to portray the characters. Because, and I know we can comparing it to the MCU, because the MCU is the cinematic universe that's in existence right now. So this is what we have to compare it to. But you take an actor like Simu Liu, right? Who is not just Simu Liu, Shang-Chi.
Okay.
So it's not that he's unknown, because he starred in Kim's Convenience on Netflix. So he has,
I watched a couple episodes of that.
So he has credits under his belt, but he wasn't necessarily a household name, right? And you take him in one of the most well-liked films in the MCU, right? And so it's not about, you didn't like Shang-Chi?
Was it super?
I think it was super, yeah.
Is that what I said?
We didn't review it.
There's probably a reason for that.
We didn't review it because we didn't have the podcast yet.
Is it? Was it?
Yes. Shang-Chi came out in 2018.
It's not super.
2019.
There you go. Spoiler alert.
Shang-Chi came out in 2020 because it definitely came out after Endgame. Because I remember when Bruce Banner was in it, he had his arm in the sling.
Yeah,
so it was after
everything
Endgame.
that you're saying is true. It's just to me, it wasn't. It was a movie.
Aquafina. No, I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it had some of the 2021. I kept going up in years.
So you was down with the Dragon Ball Z nonsense, Kamehameha at the end?
I was
running around.
That's what I was about to say. Everything except the CGI dragon fight at the end. Him fighting fighting the darkness monster or whatever the thing was called. That was the part that lost me. But everything before, the Soul Sucker. Everything before they got to Ta Lo, like all of the fight choreography, the fight on the bus, the fight in the abandoned warehouse, the
warehouse fight.
What's the name of the place?
Did Katie ever get to a point where she shot her arrow?
Yeah, she shot her arrows.
She did?
Yeah, it was way at the end.
Yeah.
But God damn it, what's the name of that place?
That's exactly the point that I'm making.
Where they were having not Ta Lo, where they were having the Fight Club.
Brad Pitt? Wait, what's going on?
No, it starts with an M. Where Wong and Abomination fought.
Oh, just a trivia. Can I phone a friend?
I don't know who you're
talking about. Leave it in the comments. I'm phoning my friends. He's doing research. You guys got to be faster than what you are. I heard that place. It was outside of the dimension of reality. First of all,
no, that's Ta Lo.
Okay, where's the other place?
I believe it was in Africa.
Wakanda?
No, not every place in Africa is Wakanda.
It needs to be. Point of what I'm saying is this. There's other people outside the big three that they can focus on. Villain-wise, I don't know outside of Doomsday and what's the other one's name that's that Batman whooped on. He was just in a Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Darkseid. No, not Darkseid. Batman whooped on Darkseid. He hacked his system. I'm talking about the animated movie.
Okay, and you gotta
specify which one.
Yeah, you gotta specify that because I'm like, I don't remember seeing that.
Darkseid beat the shit out of Batman. He was in a full body cast at the end of that episode, at the end of that movie, but he still won. So, but villain-wise, do we have enough substance? Because you can't have heroes without villains. Do we have enough substance villain-wise? We got Brainiac for Superman, which I would love to see them do a real kind of deep dive into. We got who else Superman has that's outside of Zod, General Zod.
He has,
of course,
outside of Zod, he has Lex Luthor. He has Mr. Mxyzptlk, the little like alien dude from another universe.
That's
from another dimension, really.
That's
Mxyzptlk. I think it's how you pronounce his name.
You know, I'm not even gonna attempt.
He has Bizarro. He has God, what's Metallo.
He does have Metallo.
And I think that God damn it, what's the name of that android?
Yeah, I say Brainiac.
No, not Brainiac. There's another android that can like adapt to the powers that it witnesses.
Oh, you talking about doctors? Whatchamacallit?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be horrible. Yeah, there's no way they could win that one because even in the animated series, he had
Amazo.
He had to just fly away and just improve himself.
Yeah.
But we have large CGI battles that we haven't really seen Superman cut loose. Laser,
Mm-mm.
laser eyeball things and breath freeze other things and fly around and reverse time, and you haven't seen Superman cut loose. Um, so Wonder Woman has,
I don't know.
yeah, exactly. So we
No, she has Cheetah.
she does have Cheetah, and here we go. Oh, what's his name? Etrigan. They need a show just for Etrigan by itself. Constantine is in the DCEU, so you can have Superman fighting demons, which is not magical because Superman has a weakness to magic. These are spiritual entities.
Really?
That you didn't know Superman had a weakness to magic?
No, I didn't. I'm reading an article about Wonder Woman's villains.
So what do they say about all three of them?
This is the list of the 13 best Wonder Woman villains of all time on Game Rant.
Oh,
apparently she has at least 13. And number 13 is Dr. Psycho. Dr. Psycho from Harley Quinn. Apparently he's a Wonder Woman villain.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, didn't know that.
That is true. He's really a perv on Harley Quinn, so I can see
is. But it also says his misogynistic personality combined with his psychic abilities made him the total opposite of Wonder Woman in every way. So even in the comics, he's a misogynist.
True to the character. Watch Harley Quinn.
Yeah. But so the other 12, we have Dr. Poison, Devastation, Giganta.
Yeah, I remember her.
Giganta could be a good one. Genocide, Veronica Cale. I've never heard of these people. Silver Swan, Cersei, Medusa.
From Game of Thrones?
Not that Cersei. And then not the Cersei from Eternals either.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to reference her.
Well, the top 5 are Medusa, Maxwell Lord, who we saw in Wonder Woman 1984, Rail, Ares, who we saw in the first Wonder Woman, and number 1, of course, is Cheetah.
Places to go with these characters. You can build out some storylines with some of these. You got to give them compelling backstories, right? You got to have the audience sympathize with the villain as well as the hero. You already established the hero. Here's a question. Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman has been scrapped. No. Miss Gal Gadot is out as Wonder Woman. So we're going to get a new Wonder Woman.
Wait, you know that as fact?
Yeah, you can't do the DCEU without the big 3. The question is, are we getting an origin story again for Wonder Woman? Or will he understand that the general public now understands the origin story of Wonder Woman? Do we get more Trevor? Where are we going with this? Questions. I'm just asking them. If you have answers, leave it in the comment section. 2023, we got a lot of stuff coming up, Spider. We got the Kane coming over with his dynasty. We are not, and I repeat, we are not getting Kane Dynasty and the other half of the Avengers story in the same year. I'm pretty sure Marvel's going to push that out. We'll get Kane Dynasty, and then maybe a year later we'll get Secret Wars. Big year coming up, February. Ant-Man's coming out. After Ant-Man, what's on that lineup for this year? What are we getting this year?
From the MCU?
From the MCU? Hey, we're all over the place. We cross universes all the time. When's Invincible coming back out? Just throwing that out there. And The Boys.
Never.
And never. Why would you say never? Invincible.
Because I feel like we should have heard something at this point.
Ouch. It just, pandemic, animation. It's not a lot of animation studios are out, It's not
because they're first of all, they're not paying the animators what they're worth.
Well, they need to make sure they hit timelines. That's what I'm saying. Look,
and it's just they're exactly, and they're overworking the animators, and they're still not getting paid what they're worth. Hey,
man. Hey. That's a large conversation that you're trying to have right there. That's a lot. This Rick and Morty, they'll tell you. They're 2 years up though, so they should be catching up real soon, potentially. But what else is on the slate for this year? We got Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania coming out next month in February, which,
Yep.
by the way, tickets went on sale today.
Oh, I got mine already.
I have mine too.
I don't know what y'all waiting on. If you're looking at this and you ain't get your Ant-Man tickets, you probably missed out. They're probably sold out at this point.
Right.
I advise you to get them.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out in February. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out in May.
That's right.
May 5th. The Marvels, July 28th.
That's going to get pushed back.
And that's all of the films for this year.
We only have 3 films coming out this year?
Yeah, they're only doing 3 at a time, 3 every year. 3 films and 3 shows, I think.
We did 4 last couple of times. We did Love and Thunder. We did, name the other movies that came out in that year.
Talking about Phase 4.
Phase 4, yeah. We had some nonsense. We had Shang-Chi.
Well, if we're talking about Phase 5, are we talking about just Phase 5 or are we talking about just 2023?
2023 is what I started it with, but clearly there's not enough content there to continue that conversation. So we're going to have to go Phase 5. Because they just
the entirety
made the
of Phase 5.
Which they holding off till the D23 conference to drop, which again, that's smart because you want your D23 to be more popping than Comic-Con. So you're gonna drop major announcements at D23 that
right. They've really stepped back from showing any stuff at Comic-Con or real big stuff.
Is this because they don't want to run into a situation like the pandemic again when they had to rearrange a slate of movies coming out, or they just want to save it for 23?
I think they want to just save it for D23. At least in my opinion, I think that's what's happening.
Interesting. So what's going on in Phase 5? We getting Blade or what?
So, and this is coming off of Wikipedia, so take that with a grain of salt.
With a salt big grain.
But so those were the 3 in 2023. In 2024, we have Captain America: New World Order slated for May 3rd, 2024. Thunderbolts slated for July 26th, 2024. And then Blade slated for September 6th, 2024.
Now, here's a question. Clearly, we're still disjointed, right? You can blame it on the multiverse. You can blame it on the pandemic. You can blame it on He Who Remains got killed. You can blame it on whatever you want. We're still in a crisis of introducing characters and trying to get those storylines up and running. Because I just don't see Blade dealing with Kang initially coming out. In fact,
that's not to say that he has to.
Well,
because you think about it, because essentially this is going to be it's going to be a standalone film. You think about the other standalone, I would imagine so.
Not with the introduction of Dane Whitman at the end of Eternals. That's a Black Knight tie-in.
Yeah, but then just as they had, because not even an image of Blade in the film, but just as they had his voice cameo in a post-credit scene in the Eternals, I think that if anything, Black Knight or Dane Whitman may make a cameo in Blade, but I don't think it's going to come out and Blade is going to be instantly a like buddy team up movie. Blade has to have his own movie where he's the main character, not getting any help from anybody except for maybe Whistler.
Yeah, he got to get established, man. Don't do Blade
right.
like that.
But so it's going to be self-contained with hints to the MCU. He's going to have to deal with because I mean, it has to be because Blade is dealing with vampires. So we're introducing vampires into the MCU. We can't pull other characters and having them deal with all that other kind of MCU stuff before we flesh out, because they have to answer the question: if vampires just start popping up, are we going to like have vampires pop up and then eradicate vampires, or is it going to be a long-standing thing now that where vampires now exist in the MCU? And if they do exist in the MCU,
twice.
Well, they already hinted at it. They hinted at it in
Eternals.
They hinted at it in Internals. They hinted at it in Loki, and they hinted at it in She-Hulk.
I missed the Loki tie. Oh yeah, well,
it was Morbius talking about he's seen vampires and all this other kind of stuff about everything that he's seen as being a part of the TVA. So we have this, and we have it. I don't want to say established, but we have it mentioned that vampires exist in the MCU. So where are they? Why haven't we seen them? Why haven't we heard anything about vampires in the MCU running rampant? And what is going to be that cataclysmic event that pulls vampires in the forefront enough to where Blade has to come out and now present himself and be, give us a movie? Go.
I think they're going to do exactly what they did with the New Line Cinema Blade with Wesley Snipes. And
the first Marvel movie.
Yeah.
First Marvel superhero movie.
They like to sleep and try not to give Wesley Snipes his props. So for Iron Man,
he's the one that started off. This is before X-Men
started it off. But
yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not. There's a cult following. It's not critically acclaimed, but Blade was cult and critically acclaimed.
Yes,
and Wesley did that. But the point of what I'm saying is, the vampires was there. And if we had editing, it would say vampires right there. Vampires was there, living in the shadows. Deacon Frost was in the vampire organization. This is my my quote unquote on Tourette's. So they was in the organization, and then he started to try to challenge and take over, which I think will be the catalyst that brings them out of the shadows into the forefront, because they're already there.
They're just. I got you. So they're living in secret. They're living in the shadows. They're running their little underground organizations and everything. But because he wants to buck the system and become more powerful, now he's got this following of vampires, and now they're attacking out in the open. They're going because there's these long established rules. Right, that vampires won't interfere in human affairs, so that way they won't be hunted. They can keep, doing their thing and all this other kind of stuff.
With none the wiser. Unless deviants are involved. It worked for the Eternals, so
it didn't work for the Eternals. That's the whole problem.
It worked for the Eternals. I'm sure they have some type of excuse or something like that why they won't. Reveal themselves, but
the
same thing.
But so those are the movies for Phase 5.
That's it. And then Blade. It ends with Blade.
Yeah, Marvel. Blade is the last movie of Phase 5.
Who doing this nonsense? We were getting 4 movies a year.
6
we were
movies.
Getting 1 a quarter.
Well, no, we were never getting 1 a quarter.
We had, or maybe I'm counting the Sony properties.
Because in 2022, we only got 3 movies. We got Doctor Strange, we got Thor: Love and Thunder, and we got Wakanda Forever. Now, 2021, I think because of the pandemic, things got pushed around, we got 4 in 2021.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering. We had Black Widow, we had Eternals, we had
Shang-Chi.
How good I am. We had Shang-Chi. And then the last one was the one that you about to mention.
Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Exactly.
But then can that really be counted because that's also a Sony movie?
So what you doing?
I mean, it's still a part of Phase 4, but
technical. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Speaking of which, when's Tom's contract fiasco is going to start again?
You are asking the wrong person.
I'm asking the right person. You're too
knowledgeable. No idea.
He renegotiated and signed a lucrative deal to do 3 more movies. This would be outside of the No Way Home, the last one, whatever the home is.
And
now he's going to show up.
So kind of like a Civil War thing. He just kind of shows up.
He has to, but there's a Spider-Man 4 on the works. I know there is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the contract states that they have to put out a movie every 2 years.
So 2023.
If not, then the rights will revert back to Marvel. There's some crazy contracts in Hollywood, man.
Yeah.
So regardless on how well the movie does, if you don't
they got to make another one.
Movie, you got or give us the rights to our character back.
I'm pretty sure that there's like some kind of
what?
I don't know. I was about to say I'm pretty sure there's like if the movie doesn't make like so much money, then like the contract is probably like null and void, and you don't have to make another one. Because of, not that there ever would be, but if there was a Spider-Man movie that just straight up flopped, I don't think they would make another one after that. I think they would just let it sit and be like, okay, you don't have to come out with another one in 2 years. Give it some time, then you could come back and revamp the whole thing.
That's not how contracts work. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2 wasn't well renowned.
Yeah, but then they didn't make another one.
They were in the works of making another one.
They were in the works of making another one because that one wasn't as well received. They were like, nope, we're not doing it.
They were setting up the Sinister Six, which
it's supposed to be the Sinister Six,
which we did not get in the last Spider-Man movie because there was a big talk about the Sinister Six.
But there's only 5 of them.
Well, that's the twist. What they say in Rick and Morty? You're the 6th member. That's the twist. It's not a twist.
No, it's not a twist.
And he just says.
But the thing about it is that because you had Electro, you had Dr. Octopus, you had Lizard, you had Green Goblin, you had Sandman. So you had
that was sitting in the bar in Mexico.
No.
No?
No.
But he was there.
No. But basically you had a villain from each of the previous Spider-Man franchises, from each of the Spider-Man films. So, of course, Green Goblin from Spider-Man, Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, Sandman from Spider-Man 3. You had
Electro from
Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man, and Electro from Amazing Spider-Man 2. Because Vulture, for whatever reason, was still in prison, and then got transported to the Sony universe. But then
that's
Mysterio
continuity works.
No, it's not. It's really not. But then Mysterio being either dead or MIA, Tom Holland didn't have a 6 or a villain to join the crew. Because if it would have been it, and I think it was already full enough.
For so long, they were saying Dimitri, the bus driver. If you go back and look at the Spider-Man
Far
From Home, when he was putting on the Edict glasses that look similar to mine, but don't look similar to mine. He could not find any information on Dimitri because they wanted him to be, or I can't say they wanted him to be, but there was alluding that
planting the seeds.
Be the Chameleon. That listen, I think a lot of stuff they put into play, but because of us, the fans, they don't want us to really know or predict what's going on. So a lot of deception comes into play. Look how they cut the trailer for Infinity War and
Endgame. It was a whole misdirection,
and make you think when they shoot shots and leave spots blank, potentially there's somebody there, or potentially there isn't, because we thought Beta Ray Bill was going to be in Love and Thunder. No Beta Ray Bill. And it's just like, I think they just want to say, ha, you think you know, but you don't know shit.
Right. But really all they have to do is put out a trailer, because like you said, they film things, they superimpose things, they CG things, like the whole running scene. Now, the running scene for Infinity War, of course, they had to film that, which could have just been something that they left on the editing room floor. But like, for Hulk, you're basically replacing the Hulk model with the Hulkbuster model. They're both CG'd, so you're taking out one character and putting in another one. But you have things like in Spider-Man Homecoming, you have the Tinkerer working with Vulture, who is a well-known Spider-Man villain. You have Aaron Davis, named character, references his nephew. We know that he's the Prowler. It's clearly featured in the film, even with the deleted scene where he was on the phone with Miles. And nothing from it.
Retcon.
So it's not that not only are they deceiving us with intentional trailer misdirects, but they're also leaving us wanting with putting like little nods, little Easter eggs, like you said, the whole thing with Dimitri and Far From Home. They're putting that stuff in the films intentionally to get us buzzing about it, to get us salivating as to when we're going to get this character in a future property, and then either never delivering, or by the time they do deliver, it drives you to go back to watch the previous film again. Because I mean, that was the whole thing with Age of Ultron. You know, it was like all of this stuff. You like, oh, this happened in Age of Ultron. And then, oh, I gotta go back and gotta go watch this now. I gotta go watch that now. And it's like, oh, you know, it's if this is Kevin Feige's plan, absolutely brilliant, because it brings a rewatchability factor into your films now. Because not only do you see these characters and they make an allusion to a prior film, it was like, oh shit, did I miss that? I need to go watch that again to go see what they're talking about, what they're referencing.
I don't know. I think I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think the common man is going back and watch Edward Norton's Hulk just to get a Blonsky reference. I think what you're saying is true to an extent, because unless there's a certain movie with a high rewatchable factor, I don't think people are going back and rewatch it. How many people are going back and watch Thor: The Dark World?
And I would say before they all came to Disney Plus, probably no one. But
now,
because everything is
Iron Man.
But I think that because it's more available now, where you can pay for a subscription to a streaming service and you can get Thor: The Dark World in addition to, you know, upcoming Disney animated movies, the entire MCU catalog, Disney Plus shows, MCU shows, new Disney shows, you know, National Geographic stuff, all of this stuff you can get on Disney Plus in addition to Thor: The Dark World. I think that you would have more people who would say, I watch Thor: The Dark World because it's already included, versus somebody be like, oh, I'm gonna go rent Thor: The Dark World, or I'm gonna go buy the DVD for Thor: The Dark World. I'm not gonna go out of my way to purchase Thor: The Dark World specifically. But if, you know, because when all of because I know when Disney Plus first came out, all of the MCU movies weren't there. There was some still in Netflix. There was some that hadn't been, you know, transferred over yet. So I think that when Disney Plus put all of the MCU movies on the streaming platform, I think there were a number of people who say, I want to go back and watch all of the MCU movies, because now they have they have them separated by phases, and they have it in timeline order, and then they have it in the order that they came out. And so people like, I want to watch them, you know, all the movies in chronological order. So they go through and watch all the movies. So I would think that there's been more rewatchability on Thor: The Dark World now that it's on Disney Plus than there ever would have been had, you know, Disney Plus never been a thing.
I think that's a great breakdown right there. We should do that one time and see the rewatchability of the MCU.
I don't know how you can measure that. I don't know.
Well, again, we would have to find the
streaming numbers. Yeah,
I'll go back and watch Iron Man 2. In fact, I've rewatched both of those a few times. I'll go back and watch Captain America 2 versus Captain America 1.
Right.
I probably will never go back and watch Black Widow again. And that's
I've been thinking about going back and watch it again.
Yelena Belova or Florence Pugh is the highlight of that movie. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna go ahead and be honest. Scarlett
I think
Johansson.
that there would not be a person that disagrees with you on that.
So Scarlett Johansson did not carry that movie, unless you're saying she carried it to the dirt. Um, and that's not to say that she hasn't done her due diligence. She was great. And
I think it was a bad story for Black Widow.
I think it was a horrible story for Black Widow, with a floating fortress that runs off of nothing. That
because like we like the thing that we always talk about is like, if we're going to watch a movie, we need to know what the stakes are, right? What is our hero fighting for? What is their goal? What are they hoping to achieve?
Liberation. That's what she's
right. But if it doesn't happen, then what's the consequences? Because now it's not that we don't know what's going to happen, because if you went into Infinity War and you left out of that film and you thought that was going to be the end of everybody that got dusted away, then you have no foresight on how these movies work.
Yeah, I mean, it was already promoting Black Panther before
exactly
that even happened.
But you can't go. But even that being said, it was still an emotional journey to see characters we know and love get dusted away, right? And it made us want to watch Endgame to see what happened, because like, I know Spider-Man's coming back, but how did they get him back? You know, because Thanos, he snapped and he disappeared and we don't know where the hell he is. And now we have to deal with half the universe being gone. And so everybody wanted to watch Endgame to figure out exactly what was going to happen. You watch Black Widow. It was like, okay, well, this takes place before Endgame, because obviously in Endgame she's dead. So this takes place before Infinity War and Endgame. And this was after Civil War, when she was on a run, right?
Right.
And so it was like, well, we know that eventually she makes her way back to Captain America. And so we know how all of this plays out. So essentially nothing that happens in this film matters, because we know where she ends up.
Here's the thing too. We have such a huge emphasis on Budapest. This is nothing like Budapest. This reminds me of Budapest.
We're far away from Budapest.
Again, so we're thinking that we're going to get some answers to Budapest. There's no Hawkeye nowhere in the only reference we got was what kind of bullet makes those holes. And it's not bullets, it's arrows. That's all we got.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got. So as a fan, you're 100% let down that you don't get this backstory that you were alluding to. So it's cool how you can
fill in the gaps on some stories, but you have to actually fill in the gap.
So that's not to say that the great MCU doesn't have its flaws. It can be taken down.
They put so much emphasis on Dreykov's daughter in that film, and the only other time Dreykov's daughter was mentioned was
in the Avengers.
Loki saying Dreykov's daughter as something that she was ashamed of, or something that she felt like she had to own up for, and that was it.
So how does he know that anyway? He wasn't around.
Because he's Loki. He's a man that's burdened with intelligence.
He has glorious purpose.
He has glory. He's burdened with glorious purpose.
Yeah, but mind reading ain't one of them. So,
but I mean, you think about Loki. He got there because I can't remember the character's name, but like, he was Thanos's like right-hand man and the one that gave him the staff, the scepter.
Yeah, one of his minions.
Yeah,
one of the Chitauri minions.
Yeah,
Chitauri.
Chitauri.
Yeah,
Chitauri.
Yeah, PlayStation.
But so who knows how much information that Loki had amassed after he fell off the Bifrost and was floating through space at the end of the first Thor.
If I'm floating through space, the last thing that I'm worrying about is Natasha Romanoff's fat.
But
Let me
yeah,
know about this.
no,
The
not even that.
Tesseract gave him knowledge, right?
No, it wasn't that. There's a simple explanation to all of this. Because
Lazy writing.
no, because Clint knew, and he mind controlled Clint. So Clint told him everything that he needed to know about all of them.
That is true. That did happen. So damn,
Yeah.
Clint.
I just thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, this happened like after all of that.
Listen, the
Clint snitched. That's why
rewatchability of Black
Natasha
Widow
bust
is
him in the
not
head.
high. But again, that's what friends are for. Rewatchability. I think that's a whole video because you're not watching Thor: The Dark World. I would watch Ragnarok. Ragnarok was such a great fresh take on Thor, but
I've watched Ragnarok many times.
yeah, but you're gonna watch Love and Thunder. Have you watched Love and Thunder since you
I have
watched
not watched. I have not watched. I have not rewatched any MCU movie.
from Phase 4 on?
No, I did rewatch No Way Home a lot.
And that's it.
As far as Phase 4, yes.
Wow.
That is the only film that I've rewatched from Phase 4 after initial viewing.
Wow.
But I am a little bit biased towards Spider-Man.
I watched Wakanda Forever more than once.
Okay.
And that wrapped up Phase 4. But
yeah,
I watched Wakanda Forever more than once. And again, that's a large order. That's 3 hours.
I think I watched Shang-Chi twice.
I wouldn't want to watch Shang-Chi more than I watched it.
But you and I disagree on that one.
Well, clearly you have a soft spot for Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians was a good movie.
So good! It was so good. First one and second one. So good.
There was a second one?
Yeah.
I didn't see the second one.
Dude, where you been?
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me not put my foot in my mouth. Maybe I'm confusing.
Was it also titled Crazy Rich Asians? Crazy Rich Asians 2. Because this project is categorized as in development, there's no data on IMDb Pro.
Well, there you go. So, again, I'm wrong in the right way. I don't see how they wouldn't be a sequel. Maybe I'm confusing it with like another movie with Crazy Rich Asians.
I don't know.
Potentially. Rewatchable factor. That's just something missing.
I don't know if you can measure what's rewatchable and what's not, though. Are we talking about the entire MCU as to what's rewatchable and what's not?
Yes. I watched Black Panther, the first one, several times.
I have as well. But I don't know, is that a mark on the movie's quality? Is that a mark on a cultural thing?
I hated the last scene because, of course, his big final CGI was just dark and all.
Yeah, the final fight. And that's the thing. A lot of these movies, like I said about Shang-Chi, the rest of Shang-Chi, to me, was really good. That final CGI fight while he's fighting the shadow sucker or whatever.
Because we reviewed that and we said the same thing.
No, fight. We did not. We didn't start. We didn't start reviewing movies until last year. Shang-Chi came out in 2021.
Maybe we talked about it and didn't review it. I don't know.
I
remember you saying that though, that they could have skipped that whole dragon versus dragon type of.
Yeah, that last thing was stupid.
I watched the Avengers more than once. I'll watch that again. I'll watch.
I used to watch the Avengers because the Avengers used to come on like TNT. I used to watch the Avengers every time it came on.
Yeah.
Anytime it was on TV, I would sit down and watch it. Yeah.
First one and second one. I'll watch the Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I'll watch Age of Ultron again.
Then how come everything else doesn't have? Stop dookying on Josh Whedon. So that's what I'm going to say with that, because clearly He did
You can
something.
dookie on Josh Whedon all you want.
Oh,
Josh Whedon is a
wow.
horrible person.
I don't know the
But
whole
no,
story.
like
What Josh Whedon did?
that's
That's a whole nother
that's
episode. Huh?
that's not even an episode. That's for off camera talk.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry, Josh.
That goes all the way back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer back
Is
in
he
the
like
90s.
China? Is he China? is Josh Whedon like China?
I can neither confirm nor deny that Josh Whedon is like China.
Hey, Josh Whedon, I need you to be a lot less like China.
But no, it was like
be a lot less like China.
Winter Soldier I watched a bunch of times. Civil War I watched a bunch of times.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Introduction of Spider-Man in the MCU. Hi, hello everybody.
Like you said, Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame, watch over and over again. Oh, so there are some films that
are they gonna kill Vision and Vision Quest?
Are they gonna kill Vision and Vision Quest?
Are they gonna kill Vision and they kill him every other time? He's either getting killed or he's about to be killed.
No, I don't think they're going to give him a show just to kill him.
They killed him in WandaVision.
Well, he was already dead in WandaVision.
He died twice. He died outside the head.
Well, he didn't even die. He was dematerialized and he didn't die.
He died. He's dead.
He didn't die.
Dead. When they brought the camera back, Vision was in the field in the fetal position. She had to expand the hex to get him. He was laid up like a little baby.
Dead. He didn't die. He couldn't die because he wasn't alive in the first place.
He was so dead. Just dead. Thanos snatched.
He's basically a figment of her imagination.
Snatched his off button off right off his head. Just give me that.
What are you talking about in Infinity War?
He died there too. Got stabbed in the first one.
What the fuck is the name of that place?
Death. Valhalla.
No.
Soul World. What are you talking about?
What place? I'm going all the way back to where the Fight Club was in Shang-Chi.
This is my Infinity Stone. Anyway.
Good luck keeping it up there.
Yeah, I can't. I don't have that Mind Stone capability. I don't have the little housing case that Vision does. So are you excited to see another Tony Stark? Or, I mean, Robert Downey Jr. reprise his role?
No, I don't want Robert Downey Jr. to come back.
Damn, you don't want Hugh Jackman to come back either, do you?
No, Hugh Jackman is different because it's not the current timeline. It's before Logan died. Unless they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. to reprise his role as Tony Stark before Endgame, I don't want to see Tony Stark.
No.
Or unless he's a hologram.
No. Listen. These guys just need a break. That's what the bottom line is. I don't know why they keep saying that they're going to retire from these characters. You just need a break. And if you do, the Russos took a break. They did Endgame, Infinity War, Endgame, and then they took a break. They haven't done anything with the MCU in a hot minute. And they already said they will be more than happy to come back and direct Secret Wars. So it would be crazy for the MCU not to take the two directors that made them the most money on the projects that they've created, which was The Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and then Endgame, and not give them the opportunity if they already said that they want to direct Secret Wars, not to let them direct Secret Wars. So they're coming back. They clearly took a break. So again, Chris Evans is coming back. He's going to be the Human Torch and Captain America at whatever capacity, maybe with Nick Fury on the Sword Station. Maybe he's on the moon. Maybe he's going to be in the past, living out that alternate timeline with Peggy Carter. Maybe we'll see him bring the Infinity Stones back and see what he had to go through to get that point across. Bottom line is, the guys just want a break. The MCU is a huge undertaking. They sign you on for multiple movies. You got to kind of be at their beck and call. A lot of actors are like really terrified because Elizabeth Olsen says, you know, they pick you up in this panel van. It's almost like you're abducted. They don't tell you who you're working with. You just shoot your shots and your scenes. You don't know who you're talking to, and then they kind of superimpose it together. And you know, you wake up the next day and you're at home. So it's almost like a secret society. of some sort. So it's a huge thing that they're signing on to. Are we gonna get a Hulk movie?
That depends on what happens with
these
Universal.
Questions out there. Well, they got a Hulk story brewing up. There's no way that we're doing the Thunderbolts and not getting Red Hulk. So we'll have She-Hulk, Red Hulk. Clearly, we introduced Scar,
Son of Hulk. Yep.
So, didn't Disney have this Hulk story animation with all the Hulks?
Hulk and the Agents of Smash.
There you go. We lead to something like that because Hulk can't be in a standalone movie, but he can be in an ensemble movie. So if we have that, pretty much got a Hulk movie.
It's possible. But, I mean, again, it still depends on what Universal is going to do about the rights to Hulk.
Well, Disney clearly has money. They can negotiate contracts.
Well, why haven't they done one so far?
Who says that they haven't? Kevin Feige.
Who said that they haven't? There hasn't been one that's been released.
Hulk's clearly stated, save it for the movie. Again, everything that Marvel does is deliberate. Every line is scripted. Time has a way of messing back. You'll see.
Madripoor. That's the name I couldn't think of.
Why are we going back to Madripoor?
That's the name I couldn't think of. The name of the place that I couldn't think of.
New World Order.
Madripoor.
Captain America. Will we go back to Madripoor? Who else is in Madripoor? That's Logan's spot.
Mm-hmm.
We may see Logan in Madripoor with Deadpool. So
what were you saying about Logan?
So, Logan's from like to hang out in Madripoor. I'm not gonna say he's from Madripoor. He likes to hang out in Madripoor, but Logan's Canadian, so hey, I'm pretty sure it's gonna make sense for him and Deadpool to get together. So, what are your 2023 predictions for the MCU or the superhero genre overall? James Gunn's gonna save the DCEU. I'm interested in see who he's gonna cast for Wonder Woman, for Green Lantern, John Stewart. You know, there was talk about John David Washington being John Stewart.
Green Lantern. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Denzel's son. Think that's a good fit? That's not a good fit.
I just size-wise?
No, not size-wise at all. No.
Because John Stewart was like Marine Special Forces.
Yeah, he was a large man.
Yeah. So not to say that he wouldn't be able to portray the character, because John Stewart is a very noble man, and I haven't seen John David Washington on a lot of stuff.
You didn't see Tenet?
No, I didn't watch Tenet.
Oh, okay. Did you see Ballers?
No, I didn't watch Ballers.
Ballers was incredible. The Rock,
I heard good things about it, but
The Rock was at his best in Ballers. He had a nice supporting cast. The show shouldn't have got canceled, or it didn't get canceled. He was done with it. But at the same time, could have kept going with that.
Let me see. Have I watched anything that he was in? Didn't watch Amsterdam. Didn't watch Black Klansman.
Black Klansman was good too.
Malcolm and Marie.
Malcolm and Marie was good too.
Yeah, I haven't watched anything that he's been in, actually.
So clearly you're a John David hater. So you know he won't be good for you. But you know, what can save the DCEU? Can Idris Elba save the DCEU? Did you want to see a Bloodshot?
Not as Bloodsport. No.
Bloodsport
No, I feel like we got everything we needed to know about his character in the Suicide Squad. And that was it.
Is he only there because Will Smith wouldn't come back?
No, because I think they probably wanted to move away from Suicide Squad and bring in some different characters.
Then why use Captain Boomerang still? Why use Harley Quinn?
Why use Harley Quinn? Why use Rick Flag? Because you still wanted to get some people that love those characters.
Why use Amanda Waller? Viola Davis.
Amanda Waller is the Tony Stark of the DCEU. She's the connective tissue through all of the films.
More like the Nick Fury, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could say, because she is the one putting the teams together. So yeah.
Interesting. How in the hell did she get Superman to work for her?
Fuck if I know. I don't know.
Whole lot of continuity.
Nothing makes sense. But I mean, it's the DCEU. So, it depends on. I don't know. I have no answers for DC.
Whoever's in charge at the moment.
Pretty much.
Listen, that's not to say the MCU is without flaw. So
no, and we absolutely have gone into multiple films and TV shows in the MCU and pointed out those flaws. So nothing the MCU has created has been perfect.
Can someone start a cinematic universe at this point and be successful?
Yes, but the point that I was getting to is that if they're going to do so, then it has to be something that the people are going to care about, and so being successful, that is a measurement into, do we want to get MCU numbers? Because I don't think that anything is going to get MCU numbers, but you can still be successful without getting MCU numbers. That isn't the MCU bar isn't the measure of success. The MCU bar is a measure of where things can go. That's in my opinion, because I don't think that's your baseline. I think that's what you can aspire to accomplish, but I don't think if you create a franchise and you're not hitting MCU numbers, I don't think you should consider yourself to be a failure.
Oh, gracious.
But
gracious.
To create a franchise, to create a cinematic universe with characters, and you're saying that can anybody create a cinematic universe with characters that we care about enough for them to have a successful franchise in that cinematic universe? Yes, I do believe that's possible. I just don't think that it's going to be able to achieve what the MCU has done. And especially if you're creating an IP from scratch, because all these successful I won't say all, most of the successful franchises that have come out with multi-picture series are all stemming from properties that have already been created. Like the Harry Potter franchise was originally a book. Same thing with Hunger Games, originally a book. Those are relatively successful franchises, but they're coming from properties that have already existed. So it has a fan base built in. Your Marvel, your DC coming from comic books.
Also have Game of Thrones. Already.
You also have Game of Thrones, a book. Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, books before the movies came out.
50 Shades of Grey.
Now, so moving on.
It was a book.
But Twilight, again, also a book. Moderately successful franchise. Well, I can't even say moderately successful franchise. Again, not MCU numbers, but still a successful franchise stemming from an already created intellectual property. To be able to create an intellectual property from scratch purely for film purposes, to create a cinematic universe, is a challenge, or would be a challenge in and of itself, but not impossible. Yeah. Not impossible.
John Wick is a clear one of them. John Wick did not exist before John Wick.
Was that not inspired by a graphic novel or something like that? Just straight up created to be. Case in point.
Also, The Matrix was another one. It was not based on a book.
But John Wick, great series of films. Can't wait for John Wick 4. But can you extend that to where you can take a character out of John Wick, have it in the same universe, but not feature John Wick, and we still care about that character? Has there been any character in any of the John Wick films that Say, for example, Halle Berry's character from John Wick 3.
I don't care
Can we
about
take can we take her out of that film and follow her on her own story and still care about her as much as we care about John Wick?
I hope not. Please don't do that. Please. Leave her and her dogs alone. She's been through enough. She's been through enough. But I also will say, not just John Wick. What was the other one that I was just thinking about? That just mine is escaping me right now. I just had it. This is why I blurt out stuff.
Give me an actor or something.
No, I can't. I can't.
I refuse.
No, I'm gonna remember later on, but it was another one that was not.
I don't remember a place or character name.
It wasn't a book before.
It wasn't a book.
It was not a book, and it was successful. Nice little franchise.
What was it about? You know,
I'm only gonna remember later on. You know.
Is it action? Is it sci-fi? Is it fantasy?
Action.
We're talking about action. See, now you're gonna have me thinking about it.
But see, I can't remember, so that's the bad part about it. I'll think about it later. I'm not gonna.
It's gonna drive me. You're gonna have my nerves bad trying to figure out what it is that you can't think of.
Well, it's not the Adventures of Babysitting, I can tell you that. So
I would hope not.
Don't hate on the Adventures of Babysitting.
I've never seen them. So
you never seen that classic?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't remember at this current point in time, but there are the exceptions that you can come out with something that doesn't have that. I think it's helpful if you have that fan base, obviously. But again, if you're going,
I think it builds up the excitement for the film because you announce something that doesn't have any prior. You don't have any prior knowledge about any of the characters and about any of the settings or anything like that. What is it? And that's when you have to have big star name power to star in your film because how else are you going to get people excited about the story? Because if you take a story that nobody's ever heard of, you fill it with actors that nobody's ever heard of,
and you put it on a platform that nobody's ever watched,
right? And who's going to see it? You know, who's going to want to see it? I should say
it'll have. If it's really good, now this is again, you have to be at the top of the spectrum. If it's really, really good, it'll get a cult-like following. But again, at the same time, that's word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth. When's the last time someone told you, dude, you got to see this movie? You got to see this movie. Like the word of mouth. Like I know the last movie
that I wasn't already planning on seeing.
I can attest to this. The movie with The Harder They Fall with Jonathan Majors, Jay-Z kind of produced. That's the last movie that I said, you got to see this movie. And I told that to anybody who had ears that was in earshot.
Gotcha.
Do you recall one that
I told somebody that they had to see, or that somebody told me?
I told you The Harder They Fall. I remember that.
Yeah, and at that point it was already on my list to watch. I just hadn't watched it.
Was it Avatar? Was it The Way of the Water?
It absolutely was not. I didn't tell anybody to go see that movie. I actually told Michelle not to watch it.
That's horrible, man. It's horrible.
She was asking should she see it, and she already has ADHD, so she's not about to sit through a 3-hour movie. But well, she has to be like thoroughly entertained because obviously she sat through Endgame.
Are you not entertained?
Not by Avatar, no. No, I'm pretty sure that there has been one. I'm pretty sure that there has been a movie where I told somebody, I was like, "Hey, yeah, you got to watch this movie." And I'm sure that there's been something that's been recommended to me as well, but no, I can't think of whatever that movie would be at this point. Last
question, Spider, and I'm gonna let you fly. Secret Wars, King Dynasty. These are the culminations. This is supposed to be the end game and the Infinity War. of Phase 5.
But no, that's going to be Phase 6.
Well, same difference. It's the end of an era, end of a phase.
Right. And in the end of the multiverse saga.
End of the multiverse saga. Predictions. Do you think we're looking at $1 billion plus? Same like Endgame and Infinity War?
If it releases in China. I feel like I feel like that's the barrier. I feel like that's the barrier. If a film does not release in China, then there is a slim chance of it crossing $1 billion.
Okay, so on the movie posters, King got to have his face mask on. Is that what we're saying?
Probably.
I need the racism to stop. I'll end this video with the same way I started it.
Because Wakanda Forever didn't, like I said, Wakanda Forever didn't release in China, didn't release in Russia, made $800 million.
Oh, that's an incredible feat.
It is an incredible feat.
Would have released it in those countries.
They would have crossed $1 billion
easily. Even if just the non-racist people went and saw it, it would have made it cross $1 billion.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like, I think at the point of when Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty come out, unless we get a good enough build up to, because the thing about it is we didn't have a build up as far as Thanos being a villain before Infinity War. We saw Thanos make a couple of cameo appearances in some films, and that was it. So we didn't know exactly how Thanos was going to be. We didn't know how Josh Brolin was going to play him. We didn't know what Thanos was going to do. Like, we definitely didn't expect Thanos to fucking beat Hulk's ass in the first 10 minutes of Infinity War. Nobody saw that coming.
First time I heard Hulk scream. He's like, oh, when he got shot to the throat.
When he got punched in the throat.
Oh my God. You know, Hulk smashed your windpipe.
Yeah, but we're getting Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. We got He Who Remains in Loki. We're going to get He Who Remains. Well, we're going to get Kang variants in Loki Season 2. We're going to get Jonathan Majors sprinkled out. A lot of MCU properties in Phase 5 and Phase 6.
Fantastic Four. I cannot see him not being in there, especially.
But I don't, but like you said, we still have to introduce Doctor Doom, and we don't know what that connection is going to be like. We don't know if it's going to be a Kang appearance in the post-credit scenes, but we will have more of an idea of what Kang is building up to once, the Kang Dynasty comes out. Once Secret Wars come out. So there'll be more interest in the villain as a character than we did in the Infinity War, Infinity Saga. So if it's not released in the markets in China, could it pass $1 billion? It's possible, but it all depends on the movies that come before it. Because if we get into because we were talking about Phase 6. If we get into Phase 5, we get into I don't know how, but we get Quantumania, we get Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't see Kang showing up in the Marvels or in Captain America. Don't see him showing up in Thunderbolts. I don't see him showing up in Blade. Other than, like you say, little cameos, post-credit scenes, stuff like that. Going into Phase 6, so far the only thing we have slotted for Phase 6 as far as films are Deadpool 3, Fantastic Four, then we got the Kang Dynasty and the Secret Wars. So in between Quantumania and Kang Dynasty, so that's 2 years of MCU films and MCU TV shows, because he could, like we said, Loki Season 2 and whatever other TV shows he might show up in. We'll learn more about what it is that Kang is trying to do. And in that time frame, that's going to determine how much we're anticipating the Kang Dynasty. And if it's a situation where, again, going in blind, we don't know what Kang is going to do, because obviously it's a 2-part thing. So the heroes are going to lose in Kang Dynasty, and they got to come back for Secret Wars.
I mean, they're Avengers. They always have to avenge something.
They have to avenge something. We're the Avengers, not the Pre-Vengers.
Pre-Vengers.
So, or the Revengers, Thor Squad.
Right.
But so going into the Kang Dynasty, it just depends on what happens in all of those shows building up. Because just looking at the movies slated in Phase 5 and the TV show slated in Phase 5, outside of What If Season 2 and Loki Season 2, the other shows I don't see Kang having any involvement in, because we got Secret Invasion, that's going to be about the Skrulls, and then we don't even know where the Skrulls are going to show up again. But then we also have Ironheart, Echo, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, and then Daredevil Born Again. So these are
episodes for any Disney Plus show. They listen to us.
We wanted more than 8 and 9 episodes or 6.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
But like Ironheart, Echo, and Daredevil, you're dealing with like grounded stuff, right? Especially with Echo and Daredevil, you're talking about New York City, Hell's Kitchen, real base level grounded stuff. Nothing mystical, nothing space. And Ironheart, I don't know who Ironheart's villain is going to be. I don't know anything about Ironheart's villains. But then you got Secret Invasion, like we said, dealing with skulls, and then Agatha, Coven of Chaos, that's dealing with the mystical, the magic arts, Doctor Strange, all that other kind of stuff. So that's kind of outside of where I see Kang's focus right now. So I don't see how Kang fits into those properties.
Do you think
now the multiverse as a whole, excuse me, I don't know.
Do you think Disney has to do this now to keep exactly how you say that interest, shoot inserts of what Kang's doing at these current points in time?
I hope not, because I feel like that detracts away from the story that you're trying to tell in that particular show or that particular movie. Because if I'm watching Thunderbolts and Yelena and Bucky are having a conversation, and then completely unrelated, we just cut to something that Kang's doing, and then cut back to Val. Well, post-credit scenes, maybe, but not like every property. Because like even, what was that? I don't even remember what the end of it was, but it was like a post-credit scene in whatever film, and it was like Thanos was getting Infinity Gauntlet, and he was like, fine, I'll do it myself. That, yeah. So stuff like that, then yes, I can see, Kang showing up as post-credit scenes at the end of different things. But I just feel like it would still need to kind of make sense in some way.
I think it not only would need to make sense, but it actually will kick up interest for that show to have that tie-in. If they would have brought up something with Kang inside of Moon Knight, that would have made that rewatchable.
I don't see how it would have fit.
Again, post-credit scene, don't really have to.
I mean, because they had the nod to Kang as Pharaoh Ramatut on the back of the kid's vest, but that's the only reference that the show made.
Easter egg.
That was just an Easter egg thing, not a direct cameo or direct tie-in.
But you make a great point, though. Because it was Egypt and it was that time frame, they can have a Ramatut-ish kind of involvement if they were going to do a Moon Knight season 2.
True.
They got their work cut out for them, which is probably.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige has this well in hand. All of this stuff that we are theorizing and coming up with these questions and everything, I'm sure that he has all of these things answered.
Birdman.
Not the Michael Keaton Birdman.
Hey, don't sleep on him either, because
I'm not sleeping on him, but I'm just saying that's not what you were referencing.
No, I was talking about Cash Money taking over for the 2000.
Are they still taking over? I don't think.
I think they took over, and evidence of them taking over is evident about every time that song comes on. how women make their way to the dance floor.
Fair enough.
They took over. It was a moment.
It was.
Girl, you're working with it. Yeah.
It's just the beginning violins. Doom, 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 doom. That's it. That's all you need to hear.
That's hold my drink. Girl, watch my purse. And they're gone. That's all I heard.
I'll run to the floor. Okay. Yeah.
You got like for Jay-Z used to, you got 5 seconds to hit the floor. That everybody know that's a universal sign of you got 5. Go watch my stuff. I'll be back.
Yep.
I'm interested in to see where we're gonna go. I'm interested in seeing if this illustrious man, James Gunn, is gonna be able to save the DCEU. I'm interested to see what Kevin Feige has up his sleeves. Even though She-Hulk has said that some shows will be better than other shows as far as the MCU canon, I think what we have to look forward to is Tom Hiddleston's coming to save us with Loki season 2. The House of Harkness is going to be interesting because it's not really
Covenant Chaos.
Is that what this name?
Remember they changed the name? Yeah, they changed it to Covenant Chaos.
This is why I don't have hair. You guys keep changing. This episode is brought to you by Keats. Not just joking. So we don't know what that show is going. It's interesting to see where they go with that. Yeah, right.
The first question they got to answer is how did she get out of the trance that Wanda put her in?
Well, I think that's going to be the interesting dynamic that comes into play because clearly Wanda's not dead.
Of course, Wanda's not dead.
No one dies in the MCU. So,
except Black Widow. Black Widow's dead.
Is she? Because then what if she just came from a different dimension?
Yeah, it's a different multiverse. A dimension. Yeah, so you're saying that the character won't die.
And there's
a version of that character would die.
Yeah, because every character is a legacy character. Just like there's a Thor Jane Foster and a Thor Odin's son. There'll be another Thor that's, Travis' little brother,
Lil Ray Ray.
Lil Ray Ray Thor. It's like Frogger. And Uncle Ben is the only one that's consistently dead.
And Bruce Wayne's parents.
Well, then that's different universe, but yes.
I mean,
but then again, no, because remember there is this spinoff that Thomas Wayne's alive.
And Bruce died. Yes, and Bruce is the one that died.
No problem with killing whoever crosses this in the name of my dead son. Pow, 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 pow. You're dead.
You're right. So is there a universe where Uncle Ben is alive?
Oh, and how Doctor Strange says it, the vast calculus is the infinite multiverse. His death is worth much more than his life. I'm sure that I've butchered that, so I just
but I understood what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure that he's alive in some version, and maybe he even has spider powers.
And I know this was before the show, and we were talking about Marvel Snap. If any of our viewers or listeners play Marvel Snap,
yeah, we got a plug.
But there's a card that's not been released yet. But like I was telling you, they have cards for all the characters. And all of the cards have different abilities. There is an Uncle Ben card. And so if you play the Uncle Ben
dead on a card?
No, he's alive on the card. But if you play the Uncle Ben card and the Uncle Ben card gets destroyed, that automatically puts Spider-Man into your hand.
Wow. That is horrible.
The first time I saw that, I was like, that's got to be fake. That's like somebody photoshopped something like for a meme. Nope, that's an actual card in the game that is yet to be released.
Horrible.
That's
if you play that card and it's defeated, you automatically
because some cards can like destroy other cards that's on the field. So if Uncle Ben card is on the field and it gets destroyed, then you automatically get Spider-Man in your hand.
Wow. You don't even want them like that.
Every time I play Uncle Ben, if I want Spider-Man, I got to see Uncle Ben die.
Is there no other way to get Spider-Man?
I mean, you can unlock Spider-Man and you can have the Spider-Man card in your deck without the Uncle Ben. Yeah, you can have Spider-Man. They have Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
But if you really want
It's a strategy. It's all about the strategy. I want to strategically play my Uncle Ben card in the hopes that it gets destroyed so that I can get Spider-Man.
Last question: superhero fatigue, is it a real thing, and are we coming upon it with Sony? I know I said last question, but I tricked you. The mislead is real. With Sony coming out with all these spider adjacent stories, we got Silk, we got Into the Spider-Verse. You see
Madam Web.
The Madam Web's gonna connect.
Oh, I'm so excited for Into the Spider-Verse though.
We got Gwen Stacy, we got Miles Morales, we got Peter Parker, we have who's the one Oscar Isaac is playing?
Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah, so
Spider-Man 2099.
There you go. And so
you got Issa Rae, Jessica Walters,
with the Spider-Woman, and
is it Jessica Walters?
Now, all of these are not slated to have their own show, but we do have the rumors of Tobey Maguire and also a rumor that Andrew Garfield will reprise their roles as Spider-Man.
Jessica Drew.
Doing Spider-Man. Is superhero fatigue a real thing? Can we get tired of these spiders? Are we tired of these heroes at this point in time? You and I talked about this.
Yeah. Is superhero fatigue a real thing? Absolutely. Yes, it is. I've heard many of people and read many of comments saying that it's just too much at this point.
We'll be out of a job.
Well, we wouldn't be out of a job. We were actually supposed to talk about well, we have other movies that we talk about that aren't superhero movies.
Yeah, true.
But I think that for people like us who enjoy the superhero genre, because me personally, I haven't gotten tired of it. I'm still always looking forward to the next big thing, and whether it is a Marvel movie or a DC movie or even a Dark Horse Comics movie. If they come out with another Spawn, I'll watch another fucking Spawn.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! You're not gonna get no Spawn that's gonna be like Spawn. Spawn, the only Spawn that they got, and I love how they play on Heaven and Hell and all. Oh my God! Just listen, Todd McFarlane.
Get on it. But yeah, it's I do think that there are a subset of people who are not racing, and especially with the streaming services and all the different shows now, there's so much, because like you said, there's Titans, there's Doom Patrol, there was all of the different CW shows, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Then you had the Marvel Hulu series, The Runaways and Cloak and Dagger. And then there's supposed to be a Gotham Knights show on the CW coming out this year.
What's the one with Okoye that's going to be on Disney Plus? That spinoff.
The Midnight Angels, I think.
Midnight Angels.
I think Okoye is supposed to have her own show. Okoye is supposed to be one, and I think Midnight Angels is supposed to be another one.
That'll be interesting. And at the same time, we got The Boys that have their spinoff that they're doing now this year.
Yeah, with the younger heroes or the younger superpower people or whatever. But yeah, so it's a lot of,
and whenever they bring Invincible back.
And whenever they bring Invincible back. But it's a lot of content. It's a lot of content, and unless you're someone like us who, enjoys the different properties, then you're not going to watch everything. You're not going to have the desire to watch everything. You'll watch the things that you enjoy, like, oh, I like Loki season 1. I'm not worried about Hawkeye. I'm not worried about She-Hulk. I'll just wait till Loki season 2 comes out. And so I think that superhero fatigue, the superhero content fatigue is absolutely real. But I think that the content is just going to endure, because I think there are more people who still want to watch it than there are people who are willing to bypass it and just wait for something bigger. Because I think that a good majority of people haven't watched any of the Disney Plus shows. I only watched like maybe 1 or 2 of the Disney Plus shows. I don't think that the majority of people kept up with everything like we have. And they may just wait for the movies. They might be just like, I like Marvel movies. I don't want to subscribe to Disney Plus to watch the TV shows. I'm not worried about the rewatchability. I see it in the movies, and then, you know, if I want to see it in the movies again, I'll go a second time. But other than that, I'm content, you know, because we are in our own little bubble of content creators who watch the trailers, break down the trailers, watch the movies, review the movies, then come back and rewatch the movies before the new movie comes out. And so we're all in this cycle of constantly consuming this content. Outside of us, it's like we'll see, like the new Ant-Man trailer just came out a few days ago. Like that gets us excited. There's some people who's like, oh, I didn't know they had a new one came out. Oh, that's coming out this year. Oh, I forgot about that. I didn't realize they were making another one. You know, there's some people who are so, you know, disaffected by anything that the MCU does or anything superhero related, and that they see it and it's like, oh yeah, that's coming out. I'll go see it. You know, and they'll go watch it. They're like, all right, that was fun. I like that. Or didn't really care for that one, and they just move on with their life.
People, general audiences.
Right, the general audience. The general audience, for the most part, is probably getting tired of superhero content. The general audience is probably, you know, almost up to their fill with it. But
we talked about you can only have so many transitional shots. The transitional shots that I'm speaking about is so many action scenes happen in a car, so many action scenes happen on a train or happen on a plane or happen in these transitional things that you're doing because you have to hold that action, when the reality is, why don't just stop the car? Why don't just stop the train? Why don't just stop the truck?
Got somewhere to be.
It builds the tension. Yeah, but when you see,
who isn't tired of seeing the train on the track that's about to end, and the hero has to stop it from going off the end of the tracks, or get everybody off the train before the train goes off the end of the tracks?
Right, and those are the lanes that you have to play in, and then you have to tell your story and how you can tell it differently. One of the coolest things, you've seen Spider-Man fighting on the side of the train. You've seen Captain Marvel fighting on top of the train. You've seen, you know, Spider-Man swinging and he was about to get hit by a train, but he fought Doctor Strange on the train.
There's been a train in all 3 Spider-Man movies. I mean, all 3 different Spider-Man franchises.
There was one in the Andrew Garfield one?
I believe so, wasn't there? Or was he just in the sewer?
He was in the sewer.
Maybe I'm just thinking about the sewer. And maybe there wasn't one in the Spider-Man.
If you guys remember, there's a train scene in Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. Leave it in the comment section.
I know there was one in Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, the one in Spider-Man with Dr. Ock was legendary because he was
that was an iconic one.
Train.
Yeah,
but again, in the bus with Shang-Chi, and then you can only do so many. There was in the back of the truck with Ultron, or on top of the truck. You can't do the same thing that you like. Captain America can't do the same thing that they did in Matrix. And I know that's crossing universes, but again, the general audience has seen this before, so you have to do yours differently. So,
and I think that's where for me, that's where the allure comes in, is how can you do it differently? What can you do that hasn't been done before? What can you show me that I haven't seen before? And so you get stuff like the Shang-Chi bus scene. Like, even though we've seen fights happen in buses, you know, what can you do in your bus scene that I haven't seen in any other bus scene?
There was a train in the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry, guys, you took too long to leave it in the comment section. When he was discovering his powers, he was fighting inside of the subway.
There you go. You're absolutely right.
You got to switch it up. But at the same time, you have awesome scenes like Deadpool fighting inside the car.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing about it is just, you know, going back to the Spider-Man movies, they kind of did switch it up, because your fight on the train in Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock, it was different from the fight by the train in Spider-Man 3, which was different from the scene inside the train in Amazing Spider-Man, which was different than, Spider-Man fighting on a train in No Way Home. So Strange. With Doctor Strange. So they've definitely had
losing my mind.
They've definitely changed. It's like nothing is the same as what came before it.
True. Very true.
They're changing it up, but it's still, again, it is Spider-Man fighting either on or in a train.
So is it to a point now that we have to honor the character by having them fight?
Like the next Spider-Man, the next person to play Spider-Man, one of their movies have to have a train scene. Maybe that could have been a hope, because I feel like Spider-Man No Way Home was an homage. It was telling his own story, but it was also an homage to the previous two Spider-Man. So the whole train,
when he was doing the sign of Jesus. That's the biggest thing with Spider-Man, right? They got to get him to do this Jesus sign, because Tobey Maguire had the scene where he was stopping the train with the whips.
Right.
Then you had Tom Holland on a ferry trying to hold a ferry together, doing the same thing. I don't know if Andrew Garfield had one.
He did it in Amazing Spider-Man 2 because he was tying all the Transformers together. And so he was like that, but then he had to pull them together to connect them so he could overcharge Electro. But I'm saying that as far, that may be the reason that they had, because you're in the Mirrorverse and fighting Doctor Strange, you can pull out anything and everything could be a part of that universe where they're fighting. It didn't necessarily have to be a train, but because I think they were paying homage to the previous movies, that may have been why they included a train.
Well, I think there was a metaphor involved. The train went clearly off the tracks. Metaphors of things are not going according to plan. I may be reading too deep into it, but that's what I do.
But so we're looking forward to a lot in the next coming years, because everything that we're talking about is not just going to happen in 2023. So we're looking forward to some changes. Some things hopefully staying the same, but we're looking for improvements and we're looking for progress. New stories, new characters, new actors, definitely new characters, especially when it comes to DC. Like I said, we want to evolve past just the big three. We want to evolve past just the core members of the Justice League. Even though some of the core members of the Justice League have not gotten their due yet.
What do you want to see?
I'd like to see Hawkgirl.
Oh, okay.
I like to see a story about Hawkgirl, whether it's a TV show or a movie. Do I have a person to cast as Hawkgirl?
Yeah, right. Nice little redhead that come in and.
No, and the thing about it is, I like the idea of introducing new actors into a character that's being portrayed for the first time in live action, because I feel like that gives them the opportunity to make that character their own, rather than pulling in somebody who you've seen them act in like a dozen different things, and now you have to watch you have to get it out of your mind, the things that they've done before, so you can focus on what they're doing now, which is bringing it full circle. That's how I felt about The Rock playing Black Adam. I'm watching The Rock play The Rock in every other movie that he's been The Rock in. I'm sorry, Dwayne Johnson.
He's Dwayne Johnson.
He's Dwayne Johnson in every role that he plays.
Yeah, because who else gonna play Dwayne Johnson, The Rock?
But he's not supposed to be playing Dwayne Johnson The Rock. He's supposed to be playing Black Adam.
Who is Dwayne Johnson? No one else has played Black Adam. So
no, but
how to recast him now is
so if no one has played Black Adam before you and you are portraying Black Adam for the first time in live action, then you need to portray Black Adam as Black Adam, not as Dwayne Johnson.
They're the same.
They're not the same. They are not the same.
There is no Black Adam.
Anyway, there absolutely is. There was a Black Adam before Dwayne Johnson. There'll be a Black Adam after Dwayne Johnson.
Ask James Gunn.
They rebooted characters before. Like we said, how many Batman have we had? There'll be another Black Adam.
7.
There'll be another Black Adam.
I don't know. Better read that contract, buddy. I think that's for The Rock. Shout out to Dwayne Johnson.
Well, if we see Black Adam ever again and The Rock is playing him, I don't know if I'll go and watch that movie.
Ouch.
But regardless, if you like this episode, I know we were a little bit long-winded, but we had a lot to catch up on, some questions to answer since it's been a while. Since it's been a while since we had our last episode. But if you like the episode, remember, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when new episodes come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, go to your favorite podcast streaming platform and just search for All Things Super. And if you want to join in on the conversation, just tweet at us at ATSuperPod.
And we like reading the comments. So we talked about the show in the show a little bit earlier when we were talking about that's what we do.
What we're doing. So to give the people a little bit of a sneak peek.
Don't give them that. Don't give
them that. Okay.
Don't give them
that. Okay. Don't give them that.
Come back, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can make sure you don't miss any of our future episodes. Welcome to 2023.
There you go. Welcome to 2023.
We're back, baby.
I don't have anything that can top that. I can't top that. But thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you in the next episode.